What's going on, real ones? This one is a Premier League 2020/21 season table prediction. First of all, I'm going to start with who I think will become the champions and go from first to bottom, basically. So, I've got Liverpool retaining this year. I feel that they should have made more signings, so that potentially could be a fork in their plans. That could be something that trips them up. But I feel like their team chemistry is going to get them through again. And I feel that if City make as many mistakes as they did last year, I think Liverpool will run away with it. So I've got Liverpool first, Man City second. Again, City and Liverpool haven't really bought, and that surprised me. I thought they would have added a bit more than they have. So it's going to be interesting to see how they both do, to be honest. But I think City, on paper, they've got more talent than Liverpool, but Liverpool have got more team chemistry. They seem to have more hunger and just want it more of what I saw last season. So I expect the same again this year. So I've got Liverpool first, Man City second. Chelsea is going to be an interesting one. I've got them third. I could potentially see them getting second, but because we don't know how their new signings are going to do, obviously some of them are world class in my opinion, like Ziyech and Werner. But it's a case of whether they're going to hit the ground running and if they're going to gel. I think it's going to take them at least half a season for them to start gelling properly. So that's why I haven't got them in second or even first, because I think it's going to take a while for them to get to grips and learn each other's games. I also heard as well yesterday that Werner has got some kind of condition where he can't handle loud noises and like loud crowds, which is why I heard that he didn't go to Liverpool. But still, Chelsea is a massive club. So if they're in Europe or whatnot, they're going to be playing in big stadiums and that, regardless of him not being at Liverpool or Man City. Like, Chelsea's a massive club in itself, and they're going to be going to foreign grounds. And okay, there's not fans at the moment, but any time the crowds could be brought back. And if it's true what I've heard about Werner in this condition, that changes a whole lot of stuff for Chelsea, because how is he going to handle it in big pressure situations? How is he going to be if he has to go to Anfield and there's a crowd at Anfield? Like, how is he going to handle that? Even Old Trafford. Like, it's going to be interesting to see. That surprised me as I found out about Werner yesterday, that condition, and I didn't know that. So that could throw a spanner in the works for Chelsea. But Ziyech I really like. He's one of my most favourite players in the world. I think he's a cracking buy for them. And I think if Pulisic has a good season again, he was hitting form very good last year at the end of the year, I think they're going to be a problem for people, but it's just a case of how long they're going to take to gel. So Chelsea third. Got United. Obviously just got Van der Beek, who I'm very pleased to get. Very good player. Hope that he gels to the league, and I have no doubts that he can. It's just how long is it going to take him and that. And I still feel like United, obviously they got all the stuff with Sancho going on. Even if Sancho comes in, we've still got a lot of issues we've got to address. Centre back, left back, we need backup for sure. Even a backup for Wan-Bissaka, he had a poor finish to the season. So we need to cover areas. Yeah, United have still got a season or two to get back to it, I think. But I think they're improved this season, hopefully, on last year. But saying that, I've got them fourth. I don't know where I predicted them last year, actually, but I think they could have a better year this year. They should do. But we're just going to have to wait and see, man. So I've got Spurs fifth. This was a difficult one for me. Always Tottenham and Arsenal have close together. It's just the way I put them. I've got Spurs for fifth. Just got Doherty from Wolves at right back. I think that's a great signing for them. I don't know if they've got any left backs. I don't know if they replaced Rose going to Newcastle, because I think that was a massive loss. I still feel they need backup for Kane if he gets injured. Like, Son will chip in with some goals, and maybe Mora. But obviously Eriksen going, like, I feel that they're lacking. But I feel that they'll still scrape enough wins, get like a few 1-0s and that under Mourinho, because that's like second nature to him. So I do think that they'll scrape out some results. They'll be one of them teams that will get results when they're not playing that well, but it's how many of them they can get will decide where they finish, obviously. Arsenal, I've got 6th. Arsenal, another one that'd be interesting to see how they do this year. I think Arteta is steadily improving them, but they're just hard to predict, man. They'll go and beat like Liverpool, and then they'll go and lose to like, do you know what I mean, Crystal Palace or something. Arsenal, I don't know. Maybe they could finish above Spurs, but I don't know. I find them too hard to call this year. So I got Arsenal 6th. Wolves, another difficult one. I've got them 7th. They had a long season last year with the Europa League and our extra games, so that'd be interesting to see how they're going to bounce back. But I think they've got good talent in that team, like a load of Portuguese players. I think the manager's good. He's got his system and his style, and the players are accustomed to that. And I think they'll have a similar season, to be honest. I've got them 7th. Everton, I've got 8th. I still feel they should. I mean, they just brought Rodriguez in, James Rodriguez. I think he's past his best, but he could potentially be a good signing for them. More of me feels like he's going to flop. I don't know why, but I just don't think he's going to adjust to this league. I hope I'm wrong on that, because he will be a quality signing for them. And Everton are one of them teams that always do enough, do you know what I mean, to get in the top 10. So I've got them 8th, but they're a hard one to predict for me. Leicester, I've got 9th. Another one that I think they punch above their weight, man, with their squad. Vardy carries them a lot. I think Ndidi in the midfield is very important to them. Pereira at right back is a very underrated player in the league for me. I think he's their most important player, to be honest, Pereira. Obviously Vardy gets the goals, but Pereira for me is a level above. So I've got Leicester for 9th. Southampton, 10th. I was surprised by them last year, and I'm not sure of who they've brought in, but I think if Ings carries on like he did, finishing the season, they're going to be in the top 10. I think Ings will be in the running for top boot as well. I don't think he's going to get it, but I think he'll be in the top 5 at least. So Southampton 10th, West Ham 11th. They could potentially finish a lot lower than this, but I've given them 11th. I feel like Yarmolenko, he's coming up in pivotal points last year. He's quite old now, but I think that he could still do that for another season. But I'm a real big fan of Mikel Antonio. He was a player at Reading, which is where I'm from, and I used to watch him in the stadium live when he got brought into the Reading team, and I rated him from then, and a lot of people didn't. So I'm glad to see the career he's gone on and done for himself at the top level. And I think he's easily their most important player, and I think that he single-handedly wins them games sometimes. So West Ham, I think they'll have an alright season. Again though, I wouldn't be surprised if they do go lower, but I'm going to give them 11th. Brighton, 12th. Brighton, I think, could finish maybe higher than 12th. Last year they played some really attractive football, but they just lacked goals. I quite like that Trossard they got. I think he will have a better season this year. Dunk at the back. I thought he went to Chelsea for some reason, but he's still at Brighton, so I think he offers them a lot of leadership and experience now in the top flight. Maupay, I think he will push on as well. And yeah, man, they got that guy. I don't think he was left or right back. I can't remember his name now. The black kiddie, very good player. Was impressed by him with a lot of pace. And I like the football they play, man. So 12th, I'm going to go for Brighton. 13th, Newcastle. I think they could get top 10, but I'm just unsure of if they're all going to gel. They obviously brought in Callum Wilson and Ryan Fraser. I rate both of them, especially Fraser. Had him a lot in my fantasy team last year. It's a case of whether they're going to gel and suit the team, though. I think they will. It's just a case of how long it's going to take them. So that's why I've given them 13th, but I could see them finishing higher. And they've also got Lewis, I think, from Norwich, I believe. Young fullback. So I think that they could finish top 10, but I'm going to give them 13th. Aston Villa, wasn't sure with these, man. They've kept Grealish. That could help them. But they struggle for goals for me. And defensively, they're not great. I think they're going to be vulnerable. So I think they could even finish lower, but I'm going to give them 14th. Burnley, I've gone 15th. they're kind of like the modern day Stoke for me. Like Stoke stayed up for all them years when they got promoted, and I think Burnley are the new Stoke for that. They need a goal scorer though, man. I think Barnes is good, but he don't get enough goals, and I think Rodriguez is good, but at the same time don't get enough goals. So yeah, it's going to be interesting with them. They got McNeil was good on the set pieces, so I wouldn't be surprised if they finish higher, but I'm going to give them 15th. 16th, Crystal Palace. They got Zaha, Townsend. I think their keeper's underrated, that Guita. I think he's good. Van Aanholt at left back. Bit sporadic, bit inconsistent, but he pops up at crucial times for goals and stuff for them. Ayew as well, I think, is underrated. He last year, he was in some clinch moments for them and got some important goals. I think he will have another one of them years. But I think that it will solely, a lot of the pressure on how well they do this year will rely on Benteke, because he's been out of sorts for years, man. Ever since he left Villa, it's just not worked out for him. And I think if he has a season close to what he used to do at Villa, then Palace will do well. But I can't see him doing it. So I've got them just out of the relegation, man. 17th, Leeds. Leeds, I was tempted to put higher up. I think they will survive. But I don't know enough about them to base a position on them, man. So I've got them 17th, just surviving relegation. Sheffield United. This was a difficult one too. I'll give them 18th. I think they need more strikers, man. McGoldrick I used to rate, but I do think he's kind of championship level. Same for the Scottish guy up front. I can't remember his name right now. And also Billy Sharp. I think Billy Sharp, if they were in the Premiership when he was a bit younger, it would have benefited them a lot more, but I just feel like he's kind of past his best now. Lundstrom I do like, or I don't know how you pronounce his name, but I do think he's a quality player. They got some good players, man, and they're hard at home, I believe. Like, they're a hard team to break down, but away from home, I think that's going to let them down. And obviously the lack of goals, I think that's going to play a vital part. They were a very big threat last season, but the last month or so, they fell apart completely. So I don't see them surviving this year, unfortunately. But 18th for Sheffield. Fulham, 19th. Difficult one with Fulham, solely for Mitrovic and Sessegnon. Mitrovic is Premiership talent, I think, but again, is he past his best? I think he probably is. He finished top scorer last year in the Championship. I don't know, man. I'm not sure how old he is either, but I don't know. I just feel that they're going to get moments where he might even get injuries as well. That's the thing. And then who's the backup? He could easily get double figures, I think, but I'm not convinced he's going to stay fit for the full season. And I don't think they've got enough depth in their squad. So I'm going to give Fulham 19th. And that leaves West Brom for bottom place. West Brom, Hal Robson-Kanu, another player from Reading that used to be one of my favourites. I think that he's bounced on and done well for his career. But, yeah, man, I still feel they're going to struggle for goals as well. Pereira, good playmaker. I haven't seen enough of him, but little bits I've seen of him, he looks good. So potentially he might create enough for them. It's whether or not they're going to be clinical enough to finish off the chances he can create for them. I think they've got that Phillips as well, Matt Phillips. I believe they've still got him. He was another one that people spoke highly about before, but it never really happened for him. Difficult one with West Brom, man, but I've given them bottom place. But let me know your thoughts in the comments, guys. I'd be interested to see your positions for the table as well, so drop yours in the comments. I look forward to the new season, man. These are always hard to predict. I did this with my dad last year and I beat him on positions overall of getting it right. So, yeah, man, let me know yours in the comments. And season starts Saturday. I'm glad to have football back. It's a quicker turnaround than ever before this year because of the whole virus and that. So I'm looking forward to it, man, especially with people stuck at home and that. Like, it gives people stuff to do as well. So, yeah, man, get involved. There'll be more football content coming over the year as well. I need to get back on it a bit more than I have been. So watch out for that. Shout out to everyone supporting. They don't want to fuck with the real ones.